Ladies and gentlemen, I am Judith DeYoung, Associate Dean and Assistant Professor of Architecture, with my colleague, Associate Dean and Associate Professor of Art, Daniel Sauter. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2014 commencement of the College of Architecture, Design, and the Arts of the University of Illinois at Chicago. This evening's music is provided by the UIC Wind Ensemble under the direction of Jose O. Riojas. At this time, I present to you officers and administration of the University of Illinois at Chicago and the College of Architecture, Design, and the Arts, our distinguished guests, and the faculty of the college.
Ladies and gentlemen, the graduating class of 2014. Banner carriers, please come forward. Please be seated. The UIC Chamber Choir, conducted by Andrew Lewis, will begin with a selection by Morton Anderson and James Aggie, Sure on This Shining Night. Following this piece, please rise and join the choir in singing one stanza of America the Beautiful. Before we begin, to assure that everyone enjoys this meaningful event, would you please take a moment now and turn off all cell phones and other electronic devices that may detract from the enjoyment of all. Thank you.
On this shining night, a star makes shadows round. Kindness must watch for me this side the ground. On this shining
be seated. Distinguished guests, graduates and their families, faculty and staff, alumni and friends, on behalf of the faculty and staff in the College of Architecture, Design, and the Arts, I am pleased to welcome all of you to our 2014 commencement ceremonies. Most especially, welcome and congratulations to our graduates. This is a wonderful moment of celebration for everyone here today, but above all, for you. Through your amazing talent, hard work, accomplishment, extraordinary creative visions, and perhaps most of all, perseverance, you have earned this day of recognition, reflection, and celebration. This is your day. As we celebrate this day with you, we honor you not only for your achievements and your promise, but also for the many ways in which you leave UIC a better institution today than you found it. Just as you've grown by pursuing innovative research, scholarship, performance, design, and artistic practice, we too have become a stronger institution because of your presence. We are a different college than when you entered. You have enriched us. And just as we expect to be proud of your future accomplishments, I hope that you can and will take pride not only in the UIC of today, but in the UIC that is yet to be. The College of Architecture, Design, and the Arts has an exciting future ahead, and you will always be an important contributor to and a part of that future. Of course, behind every graduate stands a very proud and probably very relieved family. In his book, Fatherhood, Bill Cosby once deemed having a child the most beautifully irrational act that two people in love can commit. Your family and friends in all their endless variations have been there for you during your UIC years, providing support when you needed it most. Let's take a moment to recognize your family and friends who have helped make this glory day possible. Let us honor also the faculty who sit before you on the stage. It has been their responsibility to guide you in the many paths toward creative discovery. On this stage is, if I may humbly say, one of the finest and most creative arts and design faculty in the nation. They have worked hard to give you a sense of mastery and have offered you their passion for the fields of architecture, graphic and industrial design, studio arts, art history and museum studies, music, and theater arts. In the process, I hope they have forever altered the horizons in your life. Let us now thank them for their role in your accomplishment today. As you begin the path that you are about to start, I will leave you with 3 simple wishes for your journey. First, continue to be optimistic. There's an old saying often subscribed to Abraham Lincoln: most people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. Of course, it is not quite that simple, but having an optimistic can-do attitude, fostering all the possibilities, can go a long way in achieving those goals. I imagine the faculty in this college have demonstrated to you the importance of that positive way of thinking. The second point, at this stage in your lives, you can afford to take some risks. I imagine some of you probably have already figured that out. Not everyone you try to be successful, but learn from your failures and move forward. Creative thinking requires it, innovation demands it. And thirdly, take care of and support those around you. Rabindranath Tagore, the Indian poet and playwright, Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913, once noted, "I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy." Realize that by helping others, we can help ourselves build fulfilling and meaningful lives. I hope that during your time here at UIC, you have grown close to your classmates, that you have taught each other, and that you have forged relationships that will last long into your bright future. The support you offer those around you will be an important factor in the support you receive toward your own goals. I cannot express how excited we are to celebrate your accomplishment today. Come back and see us, and when you do, bring some good stories. We always will be thrilled to see you again. But for now, on behalf of this faculty and the entire UIC community, congratulations to you all. At this time, I'm pleased to introduce several of the distinguished individuals who are on the stage behind me. From my right, Lon Kaufman, who's the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and Provost, Laura Lee Junker, Associate Dean of the Graduate College, Theaster Gates, Artist and Director of Arts and Public Life at the University of Chicago, Robert Somel, Director of the School of Architecture, Lisa Yon Lee, Director of the School of Art and Art History, Marsha Lawson, Director of the School of Design, Christine Mary Dunford, Director of the School of Theater and Music, Annabelle Clark, Assistant Dean of Administration, Judith DeYoung, Associate Dean for Academic Programs, Daniel Sauter, Associate Dean for Faculty Affairs, Tanos Jihad El-Kari, candidate for the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Performance and our student speaker tonight, and finally, Millie Crespo, Assistant Dean of Student Affairs. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and Provost of the University of Illinois at Chicago, Dr. Lon Kaufman. Provost Kaufman is Professor of Biological Sciences and Adjunct Professor of Bioengineering. He received his PhD in Cell and Developmental Biology from the State University of New York in Stony Brook. His research focus has been on the regulation of gene expression, single transduction, and crop productivity. Dr. Kaufman came to UIC in 1985 as an assistant professor of biological sciences. He has served as head of the Department of Biological Sciences, director of graduate studies, vice provost for undergraduate affairs, and dean of the Honors College, and vice provost for planning and programs. Dr. Kaufman has served as member of the numerous NSF and USDA funding panels, and from 1999 to 2000 was appointed as the manager for the USDA Plant Growth and Development Panel. He has published extensively and has numerous patents related to his research. Please join me in welcoming Provost Kaufman.
Thank you, Dean Everett. Please join me in welcoming Dean Everett as he completes his first year as Dean. Congratulations to the class of 2014. On behalf of the UIC campus, I extend a heartfelt greeting to all of you, our cherished graduates certainly, their families, your friends, your spouses, your partners, your children, your siblings, your colleagues, and your mentors. I'd also like to thank and congratulate the faculty and the staff, the alumni, the emeriti, the donors, and the friends of the College of Architecture, Design, and the Arts. They have all had a role in this wonderful day. I am pleased to recognize today's keynote speaker, Theaster Gates, Artist and Director of Arts and Public Life at the University of Chicago, and student speaker, Tanis Jihad El-Kari, 2014 graduate of the, go ahead, yeah, what everybody want tonight. Graduate of the School of Architecture, Design, and the Arts, Bachelor in Fine Arts in Performance program. Today marks the culmination of many hours of hard work, of study, of discovery, creation in classrooms, in studios, in libraries, and within your own imagination. Many hours of what has been very emotional work and certainly what has been very meaningful work. You graduate with the assurance that your degree is from one of the nation's top-ranked colleges with the finest faculty, the finest alumni, and the finest emeriti. You graduate from a college that is recognized for its accomplishments and contributions to education, to arts, theater, music, design, and architecture. And as UIC is an engaged institution in an urban setting, you graduate from a college whose scholarship is at once both vital to and informed by the city of Chicago. Your faculty are among the area leaders in Chicago arts, culture, and architectural communities. Your college introduces its students to professional opportunities through a multitude of avenues, such as architect Sarah Dunn's Urban Lab, designer Marsha Lawson's Studio Lab, the Steppenwolf Theater through director Yasin Payankov. Your college is home to Gallery 400, nationally recognized for its acclaimed art and architecture exhibits, lectures, its artists in residence, and lectures. You graduate from a college that is recognized for its distinguished alumni, such as architect Adrian Smith, jazz musician Ramsey Lewis, actor Michael Gross, and recent graduate Lucas Neff, who starred in the sitcom Raising Hope. Not that you should think about Raising Hope as something important here today. Your college is home to the Jane Addams Hull House Museum, a national historic landmark, a place where the halos that surround the artifacts fill the rooms with values to which we at UIC aspire. As a campus, we have a true and deep devotion to the unity of diversity, excellence, and social justice in our classrooms, as part of our scholarship, on our campus, and in our communities. A recent Supreme Court decision has challenged our vision of higher education. I was in New York City a few weeks ago at an alumni event. It was a relatively small group. Some of them had graduated recently, some of them had graduated in the distant past. They were artists, filmmakers, lawyers, scientists, healthcare providers. Some worked for not-for-profits, some were executives in industry or business, and some worked in the home. They all shared a common value, a UIC value, helping current students, especially those from underserved communities, not simply and importantly through their philanthropy, which was generous in some cases, but through their actions, their volunteerism, through their chosen professions. They had come to UIC as freshmen or as transfer students, as graduate students or professional students. They came from everywhere, from all walks of life. Their majors spanned the intellectual breadth of our campus. And regardless from where they came, or who they were, or what their major, or their intellectual pursuit, they had all absorbed those values that guide our mission: diversity, excellence, and social justice. Supreme Court decisions cannot change who you are, and Supreme Court decisions cannot change whom you've become during your time at UIC. I applaud all of your accomplishments today and look forward to hearing about your accomplishments in the future. Please stay in touch. Please return to inspire the next generation of architecture, design, and art students, and please have meaningful lives. Congratulations and best wishes.
Thank you, Provost Kaufman. Great teachers are at the heart of a great university. The University of Illinois at Chicago annually recognizes and honors its great teachers. Recipients of the Silver Circle Award for Excellence in Teaching are selected by our students. I would like to recognize Lori Felker, Adjunct Assistant Professor in the Department of Art, as the recipient of the 2014 Silver Circle Award for Excellence in Teaching. Will Lori please come forward? With this award, the students of UIC honor those who have taught them with distinction in the many forums of our university. I am honored to present you with the Silver Circle Award.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, it is a privilege and a pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Theaster Gates. Artist, innovator in the field of social practice, Theaster Gates combines strategies of urban planning, object making, and performance. He is internationally recognized for his work on the South Side of Chicago, including the Dorchester Projects, Black Cinema House, and upcoming Stony Island Arts Bank and Dorchester Artist Housing Collaborative. Founder of the nonprofit Rebuild Foundation, Gates' work both in museums and in communities responds creatively to the challenges of space. He was trained as a potter, but his artistic practice includes, among many things, sculpture, musical performance, installation, and something that might be called large-scale urban intervention. Around the corner from the bank on the 6900 block of South Dorchester Avenue, he bought and restored a half dozen other vacant properties as part of what has become his Dorchester Projects. He filled one building with 14,000 volumes of art and architecture books from a closed city bookstore and 60,000 19th and early 20th century glass lantern slides that the University of Chicago no longer wanted. And he refitted the building with wood from a former Northside bowling alley. In 2013, he opened the Arts Incubator in Washington Park, a vision he developed as Director of Arts and Public Life at the University of Chicago. The renovated building is now home to artist residencies, a design apprenticeship program, exhibitions, performances, and talks. The Arts Incubator has received awards including the Urban Land Institute Chicago Vision Award for Programming, Chicago Community Trust Outstanding Community Strategy of the Year Award, and the Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago Community Impact Award. Gates has exhibited and performed at the Studio Museum in Harlem, New York, Whitechapel Gallery, London, Punta della Dogana, Venice, Museum of Contemporary Art, Chicago, Santa Barbara Museum of Art, and Documenta 13, Kassel, Germany, among others. He has received awards and grants from Creative Time, the Verilist Center for Art and Politics, United States Artists, Creative Capital, the Joyce Foundation, Graham Foundation, Bemis Center for Contemporary Arts, it goes on and on. Mayor Rahm Emanuel called him a civic treasure on par with Chicago's skyline and downtown museums. Theaster is creating a culture zone, a cultural center point on the South Side. Please join me in welcoming the amazing Theaster Gates.
What's up, y'all? How's it going? I don't have a speech. Sorry. Okay, one sentence. Provost Kaufman, Associate Dean Junker, Dean Everett, members of the faculty, graduates, and honored guests. It's my pleasure to be here, to give you guys pleasure, to honor you all this day. My name Theaster. I say Theaster. And for a couple minutes, I just want to talk about what it means to be an artist for me, and what it means to live in this city and try to have a practice that is attempting to make some impact. When I look at you guys, I look at you not unlike I looked at myself, you know, like undergrad, grad school. I was the ninth of 9 children, the only boy. Some of my sisters had gone to college, not all of them. When I graduated from Iowa State, it was a big deal. Not a whole lot of people came out because my family don't really do that. But I knew they were proud, but they weren't there, but they were proud. It was Ames, Iowa. Who wants to drive 5 hours to Ames, Iowa? No. I found myself from very young having to find a motivation that was internal, that to get from the west side of Chicago at Chicago Avenue and Pulaski to Lane Tech, which was on Western and Addison, and go to gospel choir rehearsal in the mornings. I had to wake up at like 5:30 in the morning, cook my 3 eggs, get my biscuits in, and then be out for school by 6:30. It was hard. And I remember sometimes being on the Western bus, like after taking Chicago Avenue to Western to Addison, being on the Western bus thinking like, man, how long do I have to ride this bus? You know, how long will I have to live on the west side? How long are they going to continue to tear the buildings down in my neighborhood? How long is crack going to ravage my neighborhood? How long will I have to dodge selling marijuana and trying to find gainful employment that was like actually legit? And so when Mr. Everett gives me all these accolades, I'm looking at you guys at like, 18, 17, 22, 25, some non-traditional students, 40, just going like, what am I gonna do next, right? And all of the accolades fall away, and I'm back at Chicago Avenue and Pulaski. You know, I'm back at Western and North Avenue. I'm back at Division and Laramie, thinking about where I used to get my fade when I was growing up, thinking about, you know, how I'm gonna get from the roller skating rink to like church on Sunday morning. Like all of these things that at the time just seemed like the things that young people do to get by. I was roller skating because I was kind of trying to dodge bullets, right? All of us know the narratives of violence, the narratives of being first-generation students. But maybe the big part of my talk is to try to work with you guys to think about how do we be as impactful as possible, as ambitious as possible with the plates that we've been given. I wanted to say that graduating, period, is a big deal. And, you know, all of you guys should be proud, and I know you are, and I know your families are, but not just for the ceremony of this day, but for what graduating and being in school allows us. I found like I would go back to school because like sometimes I couldn't find a job, so I'd like go back to school because the school would give me some money to go to school, so it was like, all right, I'm gonna go to school. But in those moments of graduate, like from undergrad to graduate school, you know, I had an opportunity to, you know, move to Seattle for a year. And in Seattle, I helped this small organization create its first pottery studio. So I had studied urban planning and ceramics in undergrad, and I was like, how can I turn this into an opportunity when there seemed to be no opportunities? So I started like calling friends, calling my uncles, calling my brother-in-laws, my sisters, and saying like, is there anywhere in the world I can go where these couple of things that I do kind of okay, where I could nurture those things and do more? And they were like, oh, well, we have a friend in Seattle. You should go to Seattle. I was like, all right. So I went to Seattle for a year, and while I was in Seattle, I applied for graduate school at the University of Cape Town, and I got in. And I was like, all right, I'm a little bit better as a potter. I understand this urban planning stuff a little bit more. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to South Africa. It was the first time that I had like really left the country. Like I had gone to London, I had gone to Paris, but it was like I was going to the continent. And it was this huge deal to be like 20, 21, going to this place that was just kind of utterly beautiful, in total chaos, you know, because it was like right after Mandela had been released. And I started seeing that this creative life that I wanted to lead was also going to be a life of service. And I was thinking, like, what can I do? How can my talents as a creative person, as an urban planner, as an artist, be impactful in this place? And so at the same time that I was trying to, like, increase my artistic ability, I found myself really concerned about the needs of the people around me. If we fast forward that, I get this job at the University of Chicago. It's a cute little job. It's a nice job. I'm a good administrator. You know, my parents are so glad. Like, your parents are glad that you guys are graduating today. Wait till you get a job. They're gonna be like, thank you, Jesus! Thank you, Jesus! Thank you, Jesus! I got this job at the University of Chicago, and I was like, all right, I guess this means that this West Sider got to move to the South Side. Oh, for a West Sider, that's not so easy. But I moved to this neighborhood called Grand Crossing. And Grand Crossing was like the West Side. I was like, oh, this is cool. You know, every once in a while, bullets fly, you know, kids look the same, ain't no grass, my house is janky. I was like, this is just like home. And I, you know, was growing in my job at the University of Chicago, and I kind of run into like faculty like your faculty here. And I found myself thinking, there's a faculty here at UIC, his name's Dan Peterman. He became a really good friend of mine. And maybe Dan's around here, but Dan became a mentor of mine, and this was really important for me, that as you guys graduate, make sure that you don't create these isolation islands for yourselves, that you continue to connect with your homies from like round the way, and that you aspire to meet people that can continue to inspire you. Dan Peterman was one of those folk. So I started hanging out at Dan Peterman's spot, the experimental station. And I was thinking about my little janky house on the block. And Dan would keep saying, Theaster, there might be things that you could do on the block, like that might be a part of your artistic practice. You should really think about that. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna think about that. So I was paying Dan $500 a month for rent, and I was like, well, if I could convert my crib into a little studio, then I ain't gotta pay that chump no more money. So I was like, thanks, Dan, that's some great advice. Thank you so much. You're such a great mentor. And I began this journey with these abandoned buildings. It's 2008. The building next door to me, I go out for work one day and I can hear that there's water rushing in the basement. I know that that water is rushing because somebody last night went in and stole the copper pipes, right? And so like, I call the water company, I'm like, yo, one of these buildings, you know, the water's rushing out and y'all need to come and turn the water off. And they were like, okay, the water was rushing for like a week. And I was like, man, if I don't do something about this, this house next door to me is gonna jack up my house and like my basement gonna start flooding. And I think it was something real practical that made me think like, maybe I should think about trying to buy this house next door to me. Like, it could be my little studio space or, you know, it could be a place where in the absence of certain kinds of museum opportunities or whatever, I could show my work, I could show my homies' work, not unlike the work that we do in starting like apartment galleries. I know it's a little illegal, but it seemed like a good idea. And it's like, and if ain't nobody else gonna show my work, somebody gotta see it. And so I started thinking about these buildings as a potential site for an artistic practice. Thinking about these buildings as a way of kind of radically responding to the challenges that I see facing the profession of urban planning. Started thinking about these buildings as a kind of response to the field of architecture where we feel so much like we're just administrators drawing lines for developers, but we never have agency to do buildings on our own. And could this building next door to me with this rushing water be the beginning of a kind of more complicated practice? A practice that would look not only at artistic production or the house as sculpture, but it would also think about urban planning and architecture. It would start to ask, I could start to ask my neighbors, hey, do you want to help think about like cleaning up these buildings or like boarding them up so the city doesn't tear them down? And eventually, could I talk to the city about ways that they could kind of more smartly think about what to do with abandoned buildings? And so over the last, I don't know, 7 years or so, I've made, I call it black space. I've made the urban space my canvas. I've tried to take like small symbolic gestures and say, all right, I can't afford to like trick out the whole block, but I can mow the lawn. You know, just trying to figure out ways that I can insert myself and be of service, right? So I started, you know, I acquired this building, it was really affordable. I acquired another building. We started putting stuff in them. We started informally programming these spaces. All of this thinking like, what can I do with the means that I have, with the people around me, with my hands? And then could these buildings inspire other people to do similar things? I should also say as a backstory that there were moments when in between finishing school and getting a job, I didn't have a job. So I'm gonna look at the parents again. My mom was so awesome. I'd be like, Mom, can you help me with my visa bill? It was like every month, that was like my mantra, like, Mom. And she'd be like, I know. And I'd be like, can you? And she'd be like, don't say it. I'd go over to her house, she'd give me some grits and some eggs, and then she'd hand me my package, right? And the package was like a check made to Visa because she didn't trust me. She had wrote a check to Visa, and it was like for $200. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pay you back. And she'd be like, And then there would be times in those moments where as an artist, as an urban planner, without a museum interested and without a gig, I would have to trust something that was beyond the things that I could see. And my mom had a much more, she had a strong muscle, a stronger muscle than mine for trusting. She would be like, look, everything you need to know, you know it. You're a good person. You know how to hustle. You're good to people. And sometimes you just have to wait on the opportunities to come. But when the opportunities come, don't let it be your fault that you didn't take advantage of it. And so she had all these like interesting little tidbits of wisdom. And so I would think about that, like somebody would be like, oh, you know, Theaster, I like your work. I'd like to come see your artwork. And I'd be like, great. Man, I would clean up under my bed. I would clean the basement. I'd do my dishes. And the work ain't even in my house. I'm just like trying to get it ready, just like trying to be prepared, trying to like seize the opportunity and like be as mindful as I can that opportunities for folk like us don't always come as often as we want them to. And so how do we, when those opportunities come, leverage them as much as we can to do amazing things? So I was a potter. And potter wasn't contemporary enough for the contemporary art world. All right. And I was making pots, and I had this little studio, and eventually I couldn't afford like my house, my car, and my, rent at the pottery studio. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna stop being a potter until I can afford to build a studio. That's my, right? And I'm gonna just play around with this other stuff, like, found objects or whatever. And, Dan Peterman, he loves junk, right? So this is like, all right, I'm gonna call Dan, see if Dan got some old junk I can do. And it was like at that moment when the thing that I loved the most, I had to kind of give it up for a little while, that these new opportunities started to grow. That when I could accept that I couldn't afford my pottery studio, it didn't mean that I couldn't be an artist anymore or that my practice had to go away. It just meant for a moment my practice had to shift from this thing that I knew really well to this other thing. Well, lo and behold, somebody saw this other wood sculpture thing that I did, and they were like, oh my God, Theaster, that's the best thing I've ever seen from your people from the west side of Chicago. I was like, all right, that's cool. But I basically took this space in Pilsen and took over the space and built this little temple made out of these reclaimed wooden boards. And it was like, I invested all of my money, but like all of my heart into this project. And I was like, all right, this better work. And so I invited all these people to come and like perform in this temple and have food in this temple and hang out. It was like the beginning of a kind of relational practice. I don't know. It was dinner. I don't know. I was just making stuff and like tricking it out. I don't know what it was. Maybe temporary architecture. I don't know. I didn't have a name for it. But I felt compelled to like follow this internal gut, which was like build some stuff, invite people to hang out in it, rebuild it, perform in it. And so that's what it became. And it was like, and we called it the temple. And so at the temple, we would invite these jazz musicians, we'd invite these gospel singers, and folk would come in there, and like weirdo electronica people. So like one dude would come and he would just like play one note, like for 35 minutes, and he'd be like, And fortunately, my sister cooked collard greens, so people would they would come and eat her collard greens, and the dude thought all these people had come to hear him play his one note. That's called, collaboration, But it was really beautiful, and I found myself thinking about, man, is there some kind of deep, more complicated relationship between architecture, performance, sculpture? Could this be a thing? And could I, over time, continue to invest in all of these things that I love at the same time, over time? And I wasn't really good at any of them. But if I were to invest in these things that I loved over time, could they mature? And instead of imagining them as 3 or 4 or 5 disparate things, that those things together might constitute a practice. And so here we are, lovers of many things, trying to figure out how our gift in opera singing is connected to the fact that we really like doing nails on Saturdays. Could it be that you become the first opera singing nail salon technician in the world? That might be dope. And I'm finding that the more we commit to the things that we love, And the more we dig and ask ourselves from an internal space, what are the things that we're put on this earth to do, we'll find that those things that are seemingly hilarious become the things that make us individual and strong, make our work stand out. I really want to talk to like the field for a second. Like I'm thinking about, you young architects and designers who are graduating, and thinking about the fact that sometimes there are more architects than there are projects being built. But you have this skill. And it's like, what do you do with all of this skill? And I'd like to posit that our skill is not just about the job we can get. Our skills are about the impact that we can make in the world. And so is it possible that we take these skills, and in addition to thinking about how we're going to survive, can we think about how we create new platforms for ourselves and our friends and our peers in order to do the things that we want to do? That sometimes in the absence of the opportunity, you got to build the opportunity. So in closing, I wish I had like a speech. I wish I could like look down and be like, yes. So in closing, hustling is very important. And before you leave this day, I want you to dig deeply into your hustling selves, that you might pull up a true hustler, a hustler that is both inspired and rigorous and inspired and loving and generous. And eyes are opened, looking for opportunities, and hands are ready to create new opportunities. Thank you so much.
As a hustler, no, I think that was probably one of the most powerful non-speeches I've ever heard, Thester. Thank you very much for that. If you have not had a chance to get down to the Dorchester projects and see the work he's done, please do that before you spread out of Chicago after you graduate. It'll be worth your time. It's a pretty amazing project. I have the pleasure next of introducing our 2014 student speaker for the College of Architecture, Design, and the Arts, Tanus Jihad El-Kare, a candidate for the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Performance, and brought with him the largest cheering group. Tanus is from Woodridge, Illinois, and began acting at the age of 15 at Downers Grove High School. He continued his passion for performance in the School of Theater and Music, where he worked on numerous theater productions, including, most recently, Clybourne Park, written by Pulitzer Prize winner Bruce Norris and directed by UIC faculty Derek Sanders. A highlight of Tanus's undergraduate degree was his time spent at the world-renowned Shakespeare and Company Summer Training Intensive in New Lenox, Massachusetts. Tanus helped build the Red Light School District, a student-led comedy improv ensemble that made it to nationals last year and was ranked one of the top 15 teams in the nation. He has been a diligent and committed student his entire life. His faculty and peers describe Tanus as a source of limitless positive energy in the School of Theater and Music. A theater major, he also crossed disciplines to work with the music program often. His commitment is reflected in a strong academic record. He graduated magna cum laude with a grade point average of 3.9 in his major. He has also been on the dean's list every semester of his undergraduate studies. Giving back to his community and passing on knowledge to the next generation is an important goal for him. A devoted member of his community, Tanus spent the last 7 years as an assistant basketball coach. While he identifies as an artist, he is more importantly a family man. He credits his parents for the support that allowed him to be here today. After graduation, he plans to stay in Chicago and begin establishing himself as a member of the growing population of artists here in the Second City, and hopes to one day join the ranks of the premier Steppenwolf Ensemble. Please help me welcome Tanus Jihad El-Kare.
Thank you all for coming to my first stand-up comedy gig. Provost Kaufman, Associate Dean Juncker, Dean Everett, members of the faculty, graduates, and honored guest, thank you. And where's my ensemble at? You guys back there, thank you. I love you too. Before I begin, I would like to take a moment to recognize and congratulate both the faculty and administration on the successful bargaining agreement made earlier this semester. This victory is a testament to the strength and patience of both parties involved, as compromises like this are always necessary in moving forward and establishing new relationships. In fact, one of my biggest lessons I have learned in these 4 years is that persevering toward one's goal in the face of adversity is a necessary step in helping to define ourselves. I and my fellow candidates tip our caps in appreciation to all of you and congratulate you on your new union. Please, if you would honor us, stand and be recognized. That actually worked. Okay, good. This day marks the end of a chapter in our lives, a step forward for both student and families alike. It seems as if this day would never come, and now that it's arrived, here we are for one last time together. I would like to take a moment to personally thank my mother and my sisters, Leah and Rania, for helping me arrive at this moment in my life. Had it not been for their love and support all of these years, I have no clue as to where I might be. From the bottom of my heart, I love you, and this day is as much for you as it is for me. After receiving word that I was selected to speak at this commencement, I was filled with a whirlwind of happiness, pride, and love. And to be honest, I have so desperately wanted this opportunity to speak on behalf of my class, and when I was approached by my faculty to do so, I almost couldn't contain my excitement. However, with all of that excitement came fear as well. Not fear of speaking in public or of not getting my message across, but instead a fear of not having enough time to bring my thoughts together. It seems that all we have known as students is time and how it moves. It has served us when we saw fit, but also hindered us at the most inopportune moments, like that 12-page English 161 research paper that many of us may or may not have started the night before. True story. Time has been our ally and our worst enemy, but in just 1 hour from now, time is the only thing we will have a plethora of. I mention this because after weeks of mulling over different scenarios for my speech, I believe that it is this topic of time that needed to be expressed as a final message for us to ponder on. And with that, I would like to share a personal story about my family. I am the proud son of a Lebanese immigrant to this country. And when I go over all of the strange stories and old country phrases in my head that he has ever told to me, there is one that will always stick out. 2 years ago, I received word that he had checked himself into the ICU at Hinsdale Medical because of irregular chest pains. Later that day, and after his initial blood work came back, it was apparent that he needed to undergo a triple bypass surgery. I was shocked and afraid that my time with him may be running out. I rushed home as fast as the trains could take me, and this is the story of what I thought might have been the last conversation I was going to have with my father. I arrived at the hospital, and the second I entered the room, I saw those big brown eyes and that same warm smile I have always known. But behind his exterior, I saw a man in pain. I sat down next to him, and if you know any Middle Eastern people, this is going to make sense. We began to talk over each other very loudly, asking one another the same questions we always do, and answering with the same familiar cadences. He had no idea how afraid I was that I might lose him. I sat down next to his bed, holding his hand, and searched for some small words to help comfort him in any way that I could. And when I couldn't, I just asked him if he was afraid. He looked at me and said one of the most insightful things I have ever heard. He said, "You know what, Thanos, I am, but that fear isn't stronger than me, and if it was, I would have never made it this far. My life cannot end here because my story isn't finished yet. Even on our worst days, rolling over and dying has never and will never be an option." I sat and waited for him to continue, and true to character, he did, and he said, "There is an old saying that life is like a book, that each moment is a sentence, and that each day a page, and that each year a new chapter. I am not done writing my story, and it is up to me, and only me, to finish my book. And when the time comes for me to leave and close it, I will be happy, knowing that I wrote as much as I could." His words filled me with hope, and for the rest of the night, we happily cried together, thinking about how much time we still will have left together. He survived, and without him, I would not be here today. I'm graduating, Baba, and I love you. Just someone get him a box of tissues, my God. Time was on his side, just as it is for all of us. Our futures are not just bright, but they are beaming with exceptional opportunities as our previously unlit paths are now illuminated in glorious light. The energy we have spent over the past 4 years has not gone wasted or unnoticed, but instead it has been a necessary part of our own journeys. We can now use the tools we have accumulated over our elongated stay to begin to build our futures and test the waters. At the end of the day, all of our hard work was not just for a simple degree, but the last 4 years have given us the chance to begin to write our own stories and make do with the time we have at hand. College has been an opportunity for us to explore and find out who it is we would like to become and what type of professionals we see ourselves turning into. Oh, and who can forget that it was a time for us to decide whether or not it was a good idea to drink that fifth of Captain Morgan on the Blue Line to Lincoln Park before you go and celebrate your friend Adira's birthday at about 9 different bars. That was a few weeks ago. But that is neither here but there. Anyway, my friends, I hope you get my meaning. Today is the end of this chapter in our lives, and it is now up to us to begin to pave our own roads and set course for new horizons. Benjamin Franklin once said, "You may delay, but time will not." So, my friends, let us not delay this moment any longer. Thank you.
Thank you, Tadas, for those very touching words. Now, I would like to ask Provost Kaufman to please join me in honoring students with the following special recognitions. I'm pleased to introduce Millie Crespo, Assistant Dean in the College of Architecture, Design, and the Arts, who will recognize graduating students receiving honors and awards in their disciplines.
With great honor, I bring to your attention those students who have demonstrated exceptional academic achievement, Honor students, I would like you to be recognized by rising and remaining standing as I name the various honors. Those graduating with university honors, summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and cum laude, as indicated by their gold, silver, and bronze cords. Please rise. Those graduating with college honors, please rise. Those receiving departmental distinction, high distinction, and highest distinction. And those who have been members of the Honors College designated by the gold stoles they wear. Please rise. Provost Kaufman, I present to you the graduating seniors who have received honors. They bring credit to themselves, to their families, and to the University of Illinois at Chicago.
Thank you, Assistant Dean Crispo. It is indeed, let's applaud them first. Thank you, Dean Crispo. It is indeed a pleasure to recognize these honors recipients. The achievements of these students must and should give them and their families personal satisfaction, but they have also enriched the entire academic community at UIC. We are very proud of these students. Congratulations to all for the distinctions they have earned.
Graduates, will you please be seated?
We would now like to recognize students receiving special merit from the graduating class 2014. Assistant Dean Crispo will call the names of the award recipients.
Will the following students please line up at the stairs on your left in the School of Architecture? Borislav Angelov, Catherine Simpson, David Mulder, Julia DeCastri, Nicole Tortorici, and Michael Kendall.
Director Robert Somel will present the awards to recipients in the School of Architecture.
The following students are being recognized for their achievement in the School of Architecture. Borislav Angelov, Alpha Rho Chi Medal of Merit. Catherine Simpson, Alpha Rho Chi Medal of Merit. You never know, we didn't practice this at all. American Institute of Architects, Henry Adams Medal of Merit, David Mulder. American Institute of Architects, Henry Adams Certificate of Merit, Julia DeCastri. The Association of Licensed Architects Student Merit Award, Nicole Tortorici. And the Schiff Hardin Award, Michael Kendall.
Will the following students approach the stairs on your left from the School of Art and Art History? Eric Perez, Martin Hernandez, Lucas Schaefer, Christina Harrison Frey, Nancy Sanchez, Annabelle Wheeler, Melissa Romeo, Yvonne Burmas, Rebecca Vanderson, Leonard Cicero.
Director Lisa Yun Lee will present the awards to recipients in the School of Art and Art History.
The following students are being recognized for their achievements in the School of Art and Art History. School Faculty Prize for Moving Image, Eric Perez. Woo! UIC Navona Award for Moving Image, Martin Hernandez. School Faculty Prize for Photography, Lucas Schaefer. UIC Navona Award for Photography, Christine Harrison Frey. School Faculty Prize for Studio Arts, Nancy Sanchez. UIC Navona Award for Studio Arts, Annabelle Wheeler. John McNee Award, Melissa Romeo. The Wally Scholarship, Yvonne Gail Burmas. Wally Scholarship, Rebecca Van Duzen. The Muse Social Justice Award, Leonard Cicero.
Will the following students line up on the stairs on your left from the School of Design? Alexander Hayashi, Mark Weiser, Yu Chen Yang, Julia Juravel, Nina Andorf, Alexander Geraldo, Leffie Lindoken, Alejandro Maravilla, Byron Johnson.
Director Marshall Lawson will present the awards to recipients in the School of Design.
Following students are being recognized for their achievements in the School of Design. School Faculty Prize of Graphic Design for Alexander Hayashi. School Faculty Prize for Industrial Design goes to Mark Weiser. School Faculty Prize for Industrial Design, Yu-Chen Yang. James Axman Memorial Award for Graphic Design, Julia Joravel. Michael Glass Memorial Award for Graphic Design to Nina Andorf. Michael Glass Memorial Award for Graphic Design to Alexander Geraldo. Peter Langer Memorial Award to Leafy Lindokin. Peter Langmar Memorial Award to Alejandro Maravilla. UIC School of Design Project Osmosis Award to Byron Johnson.
And from the School of Theater and Music, please line up on your left. Sean Johnson, Patrick Agata, and Trace Hamilton.
Director Christine Mary Dunford will present the awards to recipients in the School of Theater and Music.
The following students are being recognized for their achievements in the School of Theater and Music. Sean Johnson, the Clifford Littman Memorial Award. The Theater and Music Scholarship, Patrick Agata. The Trudia Barbanel Scholarship Fund goes to Trace Hamilton.
And now will Augustine Bernal please step to the podium?
The college annually recognizes a student who has contributed his or her time on a volunteer basis that demonstrates a commitment to the university, the college, and his or her school or department. This year, the College Service Award is presented to a student who embodies the concept of teamwork for his ceaseless energy, commitment, and engagement in the college and his unit. Augustine Bernal, candidate for the Bachelor of Science in Architecture. Provost Kaufman will join me and the unit heads in presenting the candidates for degree. It is my pleasure to introduce Laura Lee Junker, Associate Dean of the Graduate College, who will present the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Architecture, Master of Arts, Master of Design, and Master of Fine Arts.
Provost Kaufman, upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the vote of the Senate, I have the honor to present these candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Art History. Candidates, please rise.
Upon these recommendations and by the authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the Doctor of Philosophy degree for which you have been presented, and admit you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities of that degree. You may now move your tassels from the right to the left. Congratulations.
Will the new PhD graduates please come up to the platform to be recognized by the Provost, Dean, and Director? For the Doctor of Philosophy and Art History, Sarita Kumari here. Her dissertation is entitled Reimaging Indian Womanhood, the Multiple Mythologies of Fulan Devi. Sujin Lee, with a dissertation titled The Art of Artis Personae, Yayoi Kusama, Yoko Ono, and Mariko Mori. Alexander Nadja, whose dissertation is titled Apocalypse According to Vasily Kandinsky. Provost Kaufman, upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the vote of the Senate, I have the honor to present these candidates for the degrees of Master of Architecture, Master of Arts, Master of Design, and Master of Fine Arts. Candidates, please rise.
Upon these recommendations and by the authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the master's degree for which you have been presented and admit you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities of that degree. You may now move your tassels from the right to the left. Congratulations.
Will the new master's graduates please come upon the platform to be recognized by the Provost, Dean, and Directors? For the Master of Architecture, Samur Afifi. Heather Atkins. Damien Babich. Evan Bliss. Julia Nicole DeCastri. Peter Drejek. Rezvan Farahani. Emmanuel Garcia. Brett Gustafson. Don Calant. Bradley Kang. Michael Kendall. Elizabeth Patricia Keebell. Lauren Kolweck. David Joshua Mulder. Jeremy Pacheco. Jessica Parmenter. Ann K. Pham. Paul Rechfalski. Brian J. Smith. Catherine Simpson. Maria Jose Tasada. Kim An Trandin. Alvaro Venegas. Aurelia Vencunate. Nazifa Berkat Virani. Shifa Virani. Timothy Kramer Walser. Lian Wan. Lauren Wyatrek. Heather Wick. For the Masters of Art in Design Criticism, Brandon John Biederman. Matthew Edward Messner. Sorry. Chelsea Alexandra Ross. For the Masters of Fine Arts, Alejandro Toledo Esierto. Jordan Robert Anderson. David Body Boylan. Matthew Cahoe Brett. James H. Cofield. Elena Pekin Fejo. Colleen Keim. Christopher Michael Little. Jesse Malmed. Timothy Patrick McMullen. Melissa Meiser. Hannah Marie Owens. Julia Lise Potratz. Courtney Marie Prokopis. Nicholas Chandler Rigger. Jonathan Loic Rogers. Kyle Schlee. Matthew Patrick Shaw. Jen Yu Wang. For the Masters of Arts in Museum and Exhibition Studies, Leonard M. Cicero, Gail Anna Gomez, Stephanie Reynolds, Heather Robbins, Megan A. Wingert, for the Master of Design, Mikhail London Brooks, Keihan Hong, Anna Jane Keeler, Mohammed Nafisur Rahman, Hao Chen Wang, Weiji Zhao, Congratulations to our new doctors and master's graduates. Please be seated.
Assistant Dean Millie Crespo will present the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Design, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Music, and Bachelor of Science.
Provost Kaufman, upon the recommendation of the faculty and by vote of the Senate, I have the honor to present these candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Design, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Music, and Bachelor of Science. Candidates, please rise.
Upon these recommendations and by the authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the bachelor's degree for which you have been presented and admit you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities of that degree. You may now move your tassels from the right to the left. Congratulations.
Will the new bachelor's graduates please come upon the platform to be recognized by the provost, dean, and directors?
For the Bachelor of Science in Architecture, Radu Alexa. Boris Angelov. Afshan Akil. Daniel Barrios. Augustine Bernal. Victor Bocanegra. David Cabernet, Christopher Cahro, Salvador Cervantes, Crystal Michelle Collado, Jacob Commercy, Rebecca De La Torre, Emily Doon, Nisha Evans, Adam Fadi, Sarang Han, Terrence Hector, Vanessa Marie Hernandez, Richard Ignatz, Maxwell Albert Yarosh, James Robert Johnson, Christian Anthony Casero, Andre Kukar, Jessica Lopez, Mariano Lopez, Matthew Taylor Madsen, Matthew Martin, Belem Medina, Camille Miskovitz, Brandon Myers, Christopher Nodarcy, Jaime Alejandro Pacheco Gutierrez, Elisa Pincala, Anthony Pitanza, Matthew Paul Price, Agnes Rutkowski, Elena Salazar, Francisco Salgado, Eric Sanchez, Megan Shanahan, Johanna Angelina Spendola, Diana Stavropoulos, Nicole Lynn Tortorisi, Ryan Patrick Tracy, Andrea Janina Veronicas, Luis Vasquez, Jacob Waz, Christopher Philip Wilson, Jonathan Kenneth Wilson, Yana Yaboa.
For the Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, Carolyn R. Allen, Megan Tatiana Convey, Sophia Luz Durantes, Laura Jean Dunn, Miriam Gomez, Todd Daniel Hamamoto, Christine Renee Harrison Ferrari, Emily Therese Heffelfinger, Martin Hernandez, Christopher S. Humbertson, Megan Elizabeth, you can't keep a good artist down, Huntsman, Maria A. Manrique, Nathan A. Miller, Obina Andre Mojakwu, Maria Anna Corinna Laura Navoa, Eric A. Perez, you bet, man, Terrence Christopher Pitts. Lance K. Rittenauer. Stephanie M. Salinas. Nancy Sanchez. Megan Schuch. Lucas McLean Schaefer. Donald Donnie Stevens. Allison Joyce Sweeney. Abelardo Vasquez. Annabelle Louise Wheeler.
For the Bachelor of Arts in Art History, Yvonne Gail Estolos Burmas. Shelby Jean Lauman. Asha C. Leroy. Miranda Nicole Lindquist. Paul Michnick. Melissa J. Nunchuck. Lorelei Ann Paradise. Melissa Elizabeth Romeo. Gina Song. Rebecca A. Van Dusen. Anna P. Waskowski.
For the Bachelor of Design degree, Ellen McKee Abney. Andrew Aguinaldo. Nina Andorf. Olivia Arduini. Jesse Wade Bonwart. Jeffrey Andrew Barnes. Jenna Blazevich. Lauren Berger. Nancy Catalan. Stephen Chrissy. Brandon Dietz. Yvonne De Santiago. Caroline Claire Dodd. Lee Mai Duong. Emily Egan. Cieda Elizaraza. Juliana Esquivel. Brian Forsyth. Alexander Giraldo. Anthony Grana. Diana Grazier. Donya Hamad. Lauren Harnish. Alexander Hayashi. Jackson Robert Hill. Lauren Hecht. Danielle Hissel. Brittany Hopgood. Farouk Jarazic. Christina Jeshus. Byron Johnson. Julia Juravel. Colleen Kane. Julia Kaufman. Asha Losevich. Devin Law. Megan Lee. Leffie Lindokin. David Lopez Villanueva. Alexandra Monteres. For the Bachelor of Fine Arts and Design, Alexandra Montedes. Again, Alejandro Maravilla. Emily Mishka. Michael Peter Napierala. Blessing Okere. Amanda Bianca Antiveros. Malgorzata Pies. Sarah Poe. James Allen Rickle. Aubrey Signowski. Susan Marie Sternal. Michelle Stipa. Danya Subay. Jillian Tackaberry. Jamie Tintera. Annalisa Cristina Vaseo. Candy Valesquez. Jerson Armindo Velez. Mark David Weiser. Noel Simone Williams. Eric Edward Wojnarowski. Yu Cheng Yang. Brian Zoletta. Christina Zoras. For the Bachelor of Fine Arts and Design, Paul Cesare. Stephen Denning.
For the Bachelor of Arts in Music, Jacob N. Adams. Mr. Justin Boyd. David Glenn Brown. Thomas Owen Kelleher. Philip Kwan. Yulim L. Lee. Jessica Nicole Manzella. Gloria Fumi Oliadi. Scott William Winter. For the first time ever awarded from UIC, the Bachelor of Music degree goes to August Boyne. Andrew Dylan Brown. Annie Marie Debrzini. Sean Laurel Johnson. Jessica Elizabeth Martha Class. Mr. William E. Wayman. Jonathan Everett Wenzel.
For the Bachelor of Arts in Theater, Ashley Banks. Warren Baskin. Colin Davis. Rachel Ehrenberg. Aslan Ing. Christian Fernando. Aniello Fontano. Brittany Lutz. Chance Manzo. John Van Oort. For the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater, Thanos El Karech. Patrick Agada. Becca Brown. Trace Hamilton. Angelica Mason. Trigney Morgan. Chiago Ziem Wakanwa.
Congratulations to the new bachelor graduates. This concludes the recognition of the class of 2014.
Thank you all. Congratulations again. And finally, I would like to recognize and give some special thanks to the members of the UIC Wind Ensemble and to the UIC Chamber Choir for their excellent performances in this celebration. I'd also like to acknowledge the staff of the college for their efforts in organizing this celebration and for their work with the graduating class of 2014. One final recognition remains. Parents and spouses of our graduates, please rise and remain standing and again accept our thanks and congratulations. Parents and spouses, please rise. Now, will we have the children, siblings, grandparents, and other family and friends, please also rise and accept our thanks. Now, will all of you join me and the UIC faculty and administrators giving all our graduates a final standing ovation, congratulating them on this wonderful accomplishment. This concludes Commencement 2014. Will you please rise? After the platform party and faculty have completed the recessional march, graduates will exit through the door behind the stage. Family members and guests, please meet your graduates outside. Banner carriers, please come forward to retrieve your banners. Commencement is hereby adjourned. Thank you again. Congratulations to everyone.